So today the embargo has lifted for Catalyst, which means I can share a bunch of information about her abilities and all of the little details that you won't see online right now. I'll start with reading out her ability description and then jump into more details about how each of the abilities work in game and some information that devs shared about it during the press event. Catalyst's passive is called Barricade. Using her ability to manipulate ferrofluid, Catalyst reinforces doors, strengthening them and locking them to enemies while allowing teammates to pass freely. Catalyst's tactical is Piercing Spikes. Catalyst can throw a patch of ferrofluid that turns into deadly spikes when enemies are near, while Catalyst herself remains immune to enemy spikes. Ultimate Dark Veil. Obscure the playing field with Catalyst's ultimate Dark Veil. Catalyst can raise a permeable wall of ferrofluid that will slow and partially blind enemies who attempt to push their way through it. Players can use these barriers to divide the battlefield or resurrect their team in a safe place. So let's provide more information and context about all three of these abilities and how they play out in game. Catalyst's passive firstly can block a total of 2 doorways, so 2 doors or 2 double doors, before the next block basically cancels out the first one. If you go near a door, there'll be an interact prompt to place down her barricade. Once barricaded, the door will add 2 more kicks to the normal amount before it's destroyed, so 4 kicks to kick down an undamaged door. If the doorway is already broken, then the barricade can still be placed and it will be 2 kicks to break down. The door will break normally when shot at by the Rampage or Rampage turret, and there's no difference there to how it will interact no matter how much it's been barricaded up, so it really only makes a difference to door kicking, but that's a big part of the close quarters meta. Once it's barricaded, enemies won't be able to open the door either, so you don't need to sit next to it. You can run around in the building, you can barricade it and move away from the door, and it will still take 4 kicks to break down. This would effectively give Catalyst a chance to barricade herself in any building and give herself some breathing room. The good news is teammates can still open any door that Catalyst has barricaded up. So next, let's talk about Catalyst's tactical. You basically throw a spike strip down, but it actually isn't activated by default. It basically just looks like a pit of tar. However, as soon as an enemy gets close, it will activate and spikes will appear and it will start making noises. And at the center of the trap, there will be this ferrofluid core, and you'll have to destroy that before you can go past it safely. Obviously, outside, you're just going to be able to walk around it. It only has a limited size, but in enclosed spaces, you may have no choice to shoot it before getting past it. If you run through it, you'll be slowed and damaged. Because it doesn't activate until you're close to it, this means you won't be able to destroy it from a distance. You'll actively have to get up close to it, so nades or sniper shots will not do anything to it. I really feel like it's going to be a great way to slow down enemies pushing you when going through bottlenecks or indoor areas, and it synergizes well with her passive, 2 really strong defensive abilities. Catalyst's ultimate Dark Veil is like a big dark wall, and if you walk through it, your vision will be obscured and you'll be slowed. If you direct any kind of recon ability towards it, then it will be blocked and you won't get recon information for anybody on the other side of it. The wall can be shot through, but both sides are blacked out, so nobody can see through it. You're gonna have to guess where people are standing on the other side. There is a blue hue on teammate walls and a red hue on enemy walls, so you'll be able to know quickly if it's safe to run through a wall you see, and you won't accidentally walk through an enemy's instead of a teammate's. The devs weren't entirely sure on the exact height of the wall, but it's just a little bit lower than a Horizon tactical, so there are some pretty easy ways to get over it if you need to. But once again, I feel like this ability is going to work really well indoors. For example, let's say you're healing someone inside and you don't want to be seer scanned. You could put up the wall facing the direction of players that are trying to attack you. Without the scan information, they're not going to know who's inside, what's going on, if they're healing, rezzing, or anything like that. So that could be really valuable. So that's pretty much it with Catalyst's abilities. It's pretty straightforward. She's a very strong defensive legend with some anti-scan potential for the first time in Apex. I think that she has a potential chance to be meta, but it really does depend on how long her cooldown is on her ultimate, how often you have it available, and how effective it really is at stopping scans. And, you know, we'll just have to see in the game when it launches next Tuesday. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio!